life been more shocked by the outcome of a Dallas Cowboy playoff game than I was by yesterday's. You know, maybe it was an omen that in that commercial that we made for Undisputed, Michael and I and Keyshawn, I was supposed to be giving a eulogy at a funeral for Uncle Philip, and I just couldn't help myself. I started eulogizing the Cowboys. Talk about foreshadowing. So, Richard, you first. What to you was the biggest reason the Cowboys fell behind 27-0 before halftime, then trailed 48-16 with 6 minutes left?
The Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, their defense, Joe Barry, Darnell Savage, Jair Alexander. It was them. It was them. You got to give them credit. I'm not going to sit here and just blame Dallas and say, well, they didn't show up. So give credit to the other team. Who came prepared with the plan? Matt LaFleur and that offense. They came with a great plan. They showed up. Romeo Dobbs, who Keyshawn was ecstatic, wondering when was he going to show up. Well, he showed up at the right time, at the right place. Aaron Jones, who you knew is the Cowboy killer. Aaron Jones showed up in a big way early and often. He had 3 touchdowns in the game. They ran the ball down your throat. That was a weakness. You talked about your 3-headed monster at safety. They were nowhere to be found anywhere in this game. They ran the ball whenever they wanted, however they wanted, the entire game. So the reason why you went down so fast, this team came into the game with something on their mind. They played with a sense of urgency that you need to see in a playoff team that you usually don't see in a young playoff team. That's why you kind of talk about young teams and experience and all this. But what you'll find out is usually the most experienced teams these days, statistically, right now, are losing. They've lost more games than they've won in the playoffs. So that isn't as big of a factor. These guys came in and said, you know what, we're going to punch them in the mouth before they punch us in the mouth. We're going to keep punching until nothing's left and they're not standing. And then they looked up at the end of the game and it was a blowout. So the reason why they were more prepared, they played better, they executed better, and they came in and said, hey, we know what it takes. It's going to be an intense battle. And they stepped it. They brought the fight to you, and you weren't ready to fight.
They won the game running the football, and they have a quarterback that can make every play.
Every play.
It was a disaster from the beginning. And I told you.
Wait a second. Look,
What is that?
You're off today. You're not supposed to be here.
I know he didn't walk in. I know he didn't walk. I dealt with this joke enough yesterday.
You're not
I can't believe you gonna walk in here on your day off.
Well, first of all, I had a conversation with you yesterday.
It's okay.
And
you guys did watch the game together.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Wait, let me tell you, these jokers right here, when the game got bad, he goes and FaceTime Sherm. And now they on the phone. I said, Joker, I'm not dealing with y'all right now. I'm in the pain of what's happening. I'll deal with this tomorrow. Michael, I told you. Man,
it was my off day, Skip, because obviously what today is.
Yes.
And Dr. King and Coretta Scott King
respected and appreciated that.
Fought for that, but they'll forgive me for taking the time to come in here.
Help yourself.
I could not help myself, and I told Michael this yesterday. And I could not sit back and watch Sherm get all of. So I couldn't just watch Sherm. I couldn't watch you take it all. I had to come in and digest some of it from you to be able to speak to my compadres, Mr. Bayless and Mr. Irvin. Yeah. So, watching that game yesterday and texting you when you wouldn't text me back, but that's okay.
Well, I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't return. I got 9 million texts during the game, but I didn't return a lot.
But I should be at the top of the text chain.
I texted you when it was over.
Yes, you did. Oh, my goodness. How you feeling?
And then all the old fake people take they all fake people, Skip, when they be like, man, just check in on you to see how you ain't stand up. You ain't checking on nobody. You just want to hear
You were safe because you was with me. I knew you was okay. I made your life a little better watching you play pool and interact with Cowboy fans and do all of those things, Michael. Yeah. As I told you on the way from your other job, Cowboys down already 10-0. The game hadn't even started. I texted him. The game hadn't even kicked off. I texted him. I said, Cowboys down 10-0. Even though I picked the Cowboys.
You did?
I picked them because I thought they was
45-28 or something like that, right?
And most of America picked them.
Right.
Because that's what it should have been. But
Should have been. I agree.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
You pulled a skip. You reverse psychology.
Well, I mean, I didn't really... Look, I honestly thought that the Cowboys, based on the way that they played at home, what CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott looked like, and Michael Parsons was supposed to step up in the playoff game, step all the way up. I just felt like, hey, they were going to win this game.
Sure.
But it was the flip. All of a sudden, I was watching the Dallas Cowboys in Green Bay uniform and watching Green Bay's team that we saw early on in the Cowboys
put
uniform.
Up the numbers that the Cowboys put up in AT&T.
And they allowed my dude Romeo Doubs, and I've been saying, hey, everybody's like Christian Watson. Oh, that guy big, he's strong, man, he fat. No, Romeo Doubs is the guy.
Well,
you got to get him the football.
Romeo caught 0 against Chicago in the last game.
That's okay.
I know.
Six for $160 something of money in your first playoff game. I feel bad for y'all, man.
Okay, it is your turn. You have earned the right to tell us that tell us so. You need to tell us that you were trying to tell us.
Remember they call us haters.
What I was trying to tell you guys is that you jump ahead too far. You already looking too far to San Francisco. And I have been telling y'all, take care of Washington. Don't look forward to Green Bay till Green Bay steps on the field. Take care of Green Bay. And whoever else you draw from that point, take care of them. But you and Skip, you fell into his trap. Oh, we going to Vegas. And I'm like, no, you're not. You got it one game at a time.
Maybe I fell in his trap.
On top of that, though, Skip, here's another thing that I would say. No matter what anybody tells me, I don't like the fact that Jerry Jones put the pressure on that coach. Okay? I just don't. I don't want a coach out there coaching scared for his job.
Keyshawn, it was over in 2 minutes.
Yeah, but even if it was over in 2 minutes, maybe by Jerry saying what he said, put that pressure on that man. When it was time to game plan, he's thinking, oh, my God, what if this, what if that? Instead of just don't do it. What is that going to prove when you do something like that, Skip? Nothing.
I don't think that was why we lost.
No, that's not why you lost.
Right.
You lost because they had a better game plan than your defense.
Yeah. Right.
And they had a better game plan than your offense.
Because the coaches got spanked in coaching.
Yes.
So if he was nervous and that's the performance he put up, then if he's patting his toes on out of here, nobody's losing.
What did I say when they went for two? I said kick the field, kick the PAT, man. Stop chasing
this
points.
Game is pressure. I believe there's not you can't say, well, we put too much pressure on you, too much. This game is pressure.
It is, Michael.
And you got to deal in pressure.
Yes.
And the best players and coaches perform well in pressure situations. And that's not what we're seeing. And that's why
if you're the owner, Michael, I know the pulse of my coaching staff and my team. I should know I cannot jump on this man's back and do that. Now, look, is that the contributing factor to why they lost? No, that's not. It may be a small piece of it, though, is all I'm saying. There's no need to add that stress to the situation. Now, Dak Prescott didn't play well. As I told you, you start making me think like you based on what I've seen. That, hey,
texted me that. Yeah.
Maybe that extension, maybe you wait one more year. Maybe you try to figure out cap numbers and stuff like that. You just but it's hard to say that because I told you yesterday, Michael, who you gonna get? Like, you want Kirk Cousins? Like, who you gonna get?
I'm still on this pressure thing. How can he not know the pressure? It's been 30 damn years.
He does know it.
I don't
Yeah, but he hasn't been there the whole 30 years.
He
knows it, but you don't have to add more to it.
You don't have to add it.
You don't. Because if somebody says, if the players all know that this is the situation that we got to win to save this man's job, and then you come along and then pile on top, why would you do that? There's no need to. Just sit in your box and be quiet. That's all I'm saying.
It's a difference if the pressure is just consistent. Like Pete Carroll always made it feel like so from the day we walked in to the day I walked out, you fighting for your job every dang day. We will replace you. We're always looking for the next guy. So you always play with that edge. You're playing with that like, hey. Like, I had it all pro year, and I'm still looking like, hey, man, I better show up because they will replace me. And then it's always consistent. Then it's not different in the playoffs, it's not different, but you're adding this at the worst possible time. You're not sitting there telling Dak Prescott, hey, you play bad in these playoffs. That might, because he's going to probably play bad then. But it's when you pick and choose these moments. And Key, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you made it on the show.
Wait.
I waited long enough.
What is Jerry doing? What are you talking about? Picking this moment. This ain't the first year. You won 12 games, you lost in the wild card round. You won 12 games, you lose in the division round. You win 12 games, son, pressure's on you to go farther this year. I don't care if Jerry said it. He should have felt it. He didn't need Jerry to say it. He should have known
He didn't need it.
You got to win now.
Right.
What are we talking about here? Well, let's usher him in carefully. No, this is the National Football League. You don't win, you go home. You lose a job. Somebody else gets an opportunity. And he didn't win. This is the third time. He should have felt this pressure.
He felt it.
He's probably going to be the only coach that wins 36 games over the last 3 years.
But in the end, Dan Quinn felt the pressure too. Okay?
Yep.
He felt the pressure. What I mean by that is interesting because I was thinking about this yesterday as I was driving home from the game. Coaches that are names are being mentioned during playoff times and stuff like that, they tend to lay eggs. If you really follow it and pay close attention, they don't put their best foot forward because they start thinking about.
Was it possible he had a deal in place and he's just completely distracted?
No, but you start trying to put your staff together.
I totally agree.
You're trying to manage this.
Yeah.
You're trying to put a scheme together to stop Green Bay, but at the same time, you're got an opportunity to go interview for jobs. You need to put that plan together. So you got multiple things that you are doing at that moment in time. So sometimes, because of that, things get out the way where you're not focused in solely on this particular divisional wild card round.
All right.
You're not looking towards Seattle, or do I get a shot in Carolina? I need to know who my offensive coordinator is going to be. Instead of spending that extra 45 minutes game planning, you on the phone talking to somebody about whether or not you're going to join the staff.
I agree. Okay, should Mike McCarthy be fired and Dan Quinn be fired?
I think Dan Quinn is probably going to get a job.
I hope so.
Yep.
I think he's going to get a job, but if he does not get a job, I don't believe he should be fired. I think in terms of Mike McCarthy, you might want to see if there's a couple guys out there. My vote, and I don't know that it would ever happen, they need some discipline in their life, in a guy like Bill Belichick.
Okay.
I don't know that Bill would want to deal with Jerry, just the whole meddling part that's just around it, the radio shows, all that. I don't know that Bill wants that, but maybe he does. But that would be a great one because he got a quarterback.
How do you defend what happened to Belichick in the one game that he did play in the playoffs without Tom Brady? They lost 47-17 at Buffalo, and Buffalo played the perfect game, no punts, and scored on every possession.
But they didn't have no players, though, Skip.
Okay.
We done had that conversation a million times.
Well,
he didn't have a quarterback, but he didn't have a quarterback. That quarterback, don't let that quarterback fool you. Mac Jones, come on, man, stop. Don't do that. Don't do that to Bill.
Choice.
Dak Prescott is so far ahead of Mac Jones. Anybody that comes into Dallas and get that quarterback, they got one.
Okay.
He's just got to clean up some stuff.
I want you guys to know, before we get out of here, that this is a perpetual setup for failure. The rhetoric that you two are spewing. It's a perpetual
what are you talking about,
rhetoric
Michael? We didn't play.
To be talking about, well, you put too much pressure on your head coach. Any head coach that feels you put too much pressure on me, I can't perform. And a head coach, if your team is picking up the vibes that the head coach is like, that's why they played like that? Because you're telling me there was too much pressure.
No,
on
that's not what I'm saying, Michael. That's not.
I'm going to tell you.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't make it. What good is it? What good is it to go public and say? What good is it to go public and say, well, we're going to evaluate game by game? Like, why would you do that? What's the point?
It makes no sense.
Makes zero sense.
Like
it made perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. What I'm saying is that you got this game to show me what you got, and they showed me nothing.
It doesn't need to be said.
So it tells me we need to make some decisions. That made perfect sense.
And that's probably why you're not going to win a Super Bowl for the next 30 years until you realize that you don't do things like that. You adjust. The reason why Skip's sitting here talking about all the times, all the great times and these great players, freaking decades and decades and decades ago past the internet age, is because you don't adjust to the times. We are in new times with new kinds of players, with new temperaments, with new styles, with new ways of understanding and embracing the game. So you cannot use these old techniques and old habits. This is digital technology. You can't use analog techniques. And so when you're sitting here saying, hey, we're going to continue, we're going to do it the Jimmy Johnson way, or we're going to do it the Bill Parcells way, that's not the way. Those aren't the ways that are winning Super Bowls right now. Andy Reid needs to be studied because he's winning Super Bowls. Who else? Sean McVay has won a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan has been to what? 2 of them. Like it's been different guys going to these Super Bowls. Sirianni's been the one. You got to find a way to be in that space. And Key, I'm glad you showed up because we get to sit here.
Do you think that Kyle Shanahan, you think he folds under pressure? You think he's worried about what other people are saying?
Lynch would never say that.
I know Jed York isn't.
John Lynch would never say that, though.
Listen, you guys got something for Jerry. That's fine. But what Jerry says shouldn't affect how you perform your job. If it does, your ass gotta go anyway. I don't want to hear it. Stop talking like this. That's crazy rhetoric. If you're gonna let somebody say, oh, you gotta show up and do something, and all of a sudden you fall apart, you ain't gonna do anything anyway. So get rid of them quickly. So stop, guys. Let's stop.
What good does that
Let's
do,
move from
though?
that.